إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. ثم أما بعد. While preparing for khutbah today, it just crosses my mind a story, and I was hearing one of those scholars, and he really tricks me, and it really clicked something in my mind. So I decided to bring up this story to my dearest brothers and sisters in this masjid. How many of us, when a phone call rings or a text message rings at around 3 or 4 a.m., nobody expecting a phone call at 3 or 4 a.m. If any phone call or a message came in at 3 or 4 a.m., usually we consider it as a bad news. We rarely, somebody will call you at 3 or 4 a.m. The usual understanding of 3 or 4 a.m. phone call, it means there is something going to happen. And it happens several times. Years ago, my dad was in hospital. After Fajr prayer, a phone call came to me and said, my dad passed away. And usually those phone calls, my dear brothers and sisters, a day will come that phone call will ring at your home and you will not be the one who picked up the phone. Somebody else will call and will say, Sulaiman passed away. Abdullah passed away, who is you. Zainab passed away, whom she. Just think about that phone call when your name will be mentioned that you are already passed away. Are we ready for that moment? Whenever the death, al-maut, started to heard or to be practiced, and we are going to talk about death, so many people will put their fingers in their ears. They don't want to hear anything about the death, and they would like to be away and escaping. Unfortunately, you can't. The day of death is coming sooner or later. Our fate is, and this is our destiny, we will die. Everybody will be dying, including the prophets. إنك ميت وإنهم ميتون ثم إنكم يوم القيامة تبعثون. So everybody will be going to that path. الموت باب وكل الناس داخله. The death is a door. Every person, male or a female, girl or boy, young or old, rich or poor, he or she will go through that door. Believe it or not. Even non-Muslim people, they know they will die. One day they will die. But the question comes in, are we ready for that day? 100 times we are listening for maw'idhah. People always reminding us about how we have to perform in this life, how we have to practice. But did we ever let the death as a word to exist in our mind all through our days? Don't tell me we will not bring up the death in front of our kids. No way. One of the learning points and pillars when you are teaching and advising your family member, which includes your kids, you have to let them to understand the concept of death. The psychologist says that the understanding of missing somebody starts exactly after 10. So many times our kids, if they are below 10, if they lost one of those beloved ones, they will not react. And always we are saying they are kids, they don't understand it. After 10, they will start to realize. A week ago, one of those girls, she missed her mom and dad and all her family members. When the Jew people strikes her flat, her name is Bisan. She had an interview in the TV. The one who interviewed her, she was unable to complete that interview. And that girl, she was in a shock state and she was unable to comprehend or to say anything. In fact, next to her was her auntie. She said that the moment she heard that her dad and her brothers, mom as well, passed away, we tried to teach her that they are right now in heaven, in paradise, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose that family and to have that girl, her name is Bisan, to be a real example that death is no way. The problem with us as human beings, we are in the middle of two basic concepts. Al-rizq, your gain, and the death. And most of the time, we always putting the death in our back and rizq and the wealth in front of our eyes. And we are always chasing that rizq. If we are wise human beings, we have to think about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ. We are escaping from the death. But fortunately or unfortunately, the death is in front of us. Whatever you will do, whatever you will spend, there are people who say, I would love to have the day instead of 24 hours to be more, to gain more wealth and money. No way. This is being created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is the solution? To overcome that stress, to make Tawbah. All the doors of Jannah being closed except the door of Tawbah is open 24/7, 365 days. The door of Tawbah will be closed when the moment of Malak al-Maut comes in. So you have now the privilege to ask Tawbah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan is always in our blood. He always telling us, there is no use of you. You are away from Quran for a few weeks. Don't try to convince Allah that you will overcome your mishaps. No way. Because everybody knows that Shaitan, he used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him and asked Malaika to make sujood for Adam. And he refused to do the sujood. Otherwise, Shaitan knows that there is no Allah, there is no God except Allah. So why on earth we have to follow Shaitan's idea? Whenever the thought of Tawbah comes to you, always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of his beautiful Asma Allah al-Husna, At-Tawwab. He loves people who do a lot of Tawbah towards him. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. run to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this life, if you have a lion, you are escaping away from a lion. If you have fire, you will go away from fire. If you have somebody who is so tortuous to you, you will be escaping away from, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The moment you get the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you run towards Him. Think about this concept. فَفِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is within our hearts, and we do have too many sin, do the sin behind the sin, follow it by a sin, but every time you commit a sin, you have to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala your tawbah. And tawbah, it has its own conditions. Maybe in another khutbah we can talk about the conditions of tawbah, to fulfill proper tawbah, at-tawbah nasuh. But never ever let shaitan to get hold of you. Every time try to make tawbah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you, and you will feel the difference when you ask tawbah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فادعوا الله بالمغفرة والتوبة. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I will just bring for you, it's a story happened to Al-Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, about the concept of Al-Istighfar, to ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once upon a time, Al-Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, he was going to a village, and it was too cold and it was a rainful weather. So there was nobody knows that he is around the village or that town. So he went in masjid, he went inside and he prayed and he stayed for a while. The guard of that masjid came in and asked him, what you are doing in masjid? He said, I need to have some rest. He was terribly tired. He said, no, this is masjid, you have to go out. He tried to tell him that please let me to stay, and he didn't introduce himself as he is Imam Ahmad. So he went off masjid and tried to stay next to masjid's door. In spite of this, the security came in and told him, please leave the place of masjid. You are not supposed to sleep here. He was terribly tired. Again, he didn't introduce himself, and he was an old man, as Imam Ahmad. It was early morning. A bakery, the one who baked the khubuz and the bread, he saw him and he saw that old man. And he asked him to come inside his bakery store, which is a very warm place. So he provide him with the shelter, which is the place of the bakery. And while the bakery is preparing the doughs, ajina, whenever he cuts that doughs, he always say, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. The moment he gets it, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. So Imam Ahmad asked him, he was a little bit curious, since when you are saying Astaghfirullah whenever you cut the dough? He said, since ages. This is my way of life. So Imam Ahmad told him, and what is the gain? Did you gain something? Of course, Imam Ahmad knows the secret of al-istighfar, astaghfirullah. He told him, of course, everything in my life, if I ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I've been given. There is nothing in my life I wish if I would have it. My wish list is always exist and being made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except one wish. Imam Ahmad asked him, What is this wish which you are still not having it? The bakery man, he said, I was praying and doing a lot of istighfar and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that a day will come where I can meet Imam Ahmed. And Imam Ahmed told him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfill that wish. I am Imam Ahmed. Why I brought up this story for you, my dear brothers and sisters? Because if you do istighfar, and do istighfar from within your heart, don't do it because of your mouth while you are sitting. No way. Whenever you pray, whenever you do istighfar, whenever you do tawbah, always do it with consciousness. The heart will reflect, the tongue will reflect what is within your hearts. In fact, too many stories, being physicians, whenever patients being anesthetized, giving the anesthesia, some of the patients will start to have their jargons, which before they go into anesthesia, they were thinking about it. So even sometimes, if you sleep at night and you have some dreams, whoever sleeping next to you or next to her will say, last night you were saying nonsense things. So if your tongue is always wet with istighfar, believe it or not, when Malak al-Maut comes in to take our life, we will do tawbah and we will do istighfar. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب.